By the time Tom Waits released Real Gone in the year of our Lord 2004, he had already reinvented himself multiple times. From the barroom balladeer of the 70s and the junkyard shaman of his Island Records era, and finally the apocalyptic carnival barker of the 90s. Real Gone feels like accumulation of those transformations. It's abrasive, percussive, stripped of polish, and deeply committed to dismantling any expectations of what a Tom Waits record should sound like. Now, the first thing you notice is the absence of piano, the instrument that had been his anchor for decades. Instead, Waits builds much of the record out of clattering percussion, distorted guitars, and even his own mouth, from beatboxing rhythms on tracks like Top of the Hill and Metropolitan Glide. This choice isn't gimmickry. It's a radical recentering of his music around texture and physicality. Waits' voice, always a gravel pit of character, becomes another drum, another metallic clang in the Scrapyard Symphony. Now, lyrically, Real Gone is a paradox. The songs are rooted in dirt and violence, drug dealers and soldiers, outcasts, but they're also haunted by tenderness and loss. How's It Gonna End unspools like a grim fable, while Day After Tomorrow is the album's quiet closer, and one of Waits' most devastatingly humane songs, a soldier's weary letter home that strips away the surrealism to reveal something starkly real. It's this juxtaposition, chaos against intimacy, that gives the album its power. The record's production, handled by Waits and his wife Kathleen Brennan, leans into rawness. Instruments bleed into each other. The mix often feels more like a captured event than a polished product. The sonic grime isn't accidental. It's integral to the album's thematic core. In a time when rock was often veering into slick, nostalgic, or digital cleanness, Real Gone sounds defiantly unmarketable, a messy protest against neatness. Critics have often noted that Waits' work post Swordfish Trombone can feel, willfully difficult, but Real Gone is different. Its difficulty is purposeful. It demands the listener to meet it on its terms, to embrace the clatter and distortion as part of the message. Where earlier experimental albums carried a vaudevillian sense of play, Real Gone trades spectacle for grit, creating one of the most uncompromising works of Waits' career. In retrospect, Real Gone occupies a crucial space in his discography. Proves that even decades into his career, Tom Waits was not interested in becoming a heritage act. Instead, he was still tearing up his own blueprints, still asking how far his sound could be pushed before it broke. And the answer, fittingly, is that it never breaks. It just gets stranger, harder, and more essential. So the album is a raw, unsettling triumph, and one of my personal favorites. Real Gone isn't background music. It's a confrontation, a record that shakes the bones and refuses to settle into comfort. And in doing so, it reaffirms Tom Waits as one of the rare artists who never stops reinventing discomfort into art. So if you haven't listened to this album, stop what you're doing, put it on, check it out, and then listen to it again, and then listen to it again, and listen to it again, because it just keeps getting better for each listen.